Good morning and welcome. Happy Monday. Patriot Radio News Hour, April the 1st. It's April Fool's Day. You know what? I have one April Fool's Day story that, I guess it's the only good one that I know of. It's not one of those things. I was never really good at April Fools, and you did the usual little kid one. But our neighbors, I grew up in a small town, a suburb of Syracuse, in Jamesville. That was the name of the town, Jamesville DeWitt High School, for those of you that know the area. That's where I grew up. And I was probably, 10, and my neighbor, they had kids they were older. They were in high school and getting ready to go to college, and one April Fool's, I guess the kids, they made this plan, and they got up early, and they had this all set up. They were going to wake up their mother and tell her that and I don't know if it was the washer or the dryer was on fire, and they had put a smoke bomb in there to make it look like it was on fire. And long story short, they woke up Mom, and Mom went freaking out, got the fire extinguisher out, and started hosing it all off. Anyway, it really wasn't on fire, but let's just say after the punishment that was received, I decided long ago April Fool's was just not for me. I'm Joe Jaquint, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group. Our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. The website at allamericangold.com. And, we put in a lot of hours this weekend. We installed a brand-new board at 1360 over the weekend. We almost got it all done. So we still got a little things we're working on as we speak throughout the morning today. But I will say this, we're super close. I think the board is more for us. In other words, guys doing shows on the air, things are going to sound a lot better to them. We're going to have a lot more functionality. I think the new board's going to allow us for a return of Fake News Friday. I think all of those things. It's going to allow us to have callers like for Eric's show and a bunch of other things as well. By the way, one of the things that isn't April Fool's, did you hear our latest new advertiser? Yeah, Brian over at Turf Tamers. If you got any landscaping issues on the Front Range, he's the only guy you want to call. Make sure you check him out. By the way, I think all day today and from here on out, you're going to hear a lot more new commercials coming to the Lion. Make sure, and whether you're there in Colorado, Phoenix, wherever it is, support those advertisers. It is the lifeblood of the station. If you want your station, if you like the programs you're hearing on your station, you need to support it. And I don't care where it is, right? Wherever it is and whatever you do, if you like the message you're hearing, you got to support the station. And how do you support the station? You support the advertisers that are on it. That includes Patriot Trading Group, by the way. Metals plant, Wendy's already working. We're working on it right as we speak. We think we'll have it all done tomorrow. Yeah, Wendy is saying yes. It's a great one. Another great one. This, some quarters are a little better than others. This is probably my favorite quarter so far. We've been doing this metals program for a while now, years. The best one yet. And the more people sign up and the more people get into it, the better the program's going to be. And this one takes the cake. We've got the 10% sign-up bonus on the metals plan. If you don't know what I'm talking about, one of the things we try to do, we want to be there for everybody. Listen, gold's not cheap, right? Silver, a roll of silver eagles isn't cheap. It's hundreds and thousands of dollars. Right today, we're running a special today. The special we're going to run today is going to be well over $1,300. And for a lot of people, that math doesn't add up. I know we got this great economy. Right? 70% of the country can't afford a $400 bill. So how are they going to get ready? Right? We got national debts growing, 40% year over year? Right? We've got a Federal Reserve that, let's face it, they've just decided, you know what, let's just make this fiat money worth as little as possible. So how can they get ready? And that's why we created this metals plan for as little as $100 a month. And I know, I wish I could go lower, but this is the best we can do right now. For as little as $100 a month, you get 4 physical deliveries a year. Right? Unlike your 401ks, it's not out there in paper land. You're going to get it delivered right to your door 4 times a year. The thing that makes this plan so unique, there are no fees. Doesn't cost you anything to sign up. Doesn't cost you anything if you want to stop the plan. Doesn't cost anything if you want to change the amount. Doesn't cost you anything if you're like, hey, you know what, I had this unexpected expense. Can I put my plan on hold? Doesn't cost anything. The only charge you get outside of your product is a small shipping charge for those that don't pick it up. 800-951-0592. 10% bonuses if you sign up on those metal plans between now and the end of the month. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Talking about our metals plan. Today and tomorrow is going to be the delivery for the first quarter. So first of all, we try to make it cost effective. You put a credit card on file. There's some of you that, hey, can I send a check? Can I send a money order instead of the credit card thing? Absolutely. Right? Debit card, I love that even better. Right? Debit card, check, those are great. Right? Because they charge me less. And we take Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, right? We take them all. You decide the amount, and you tell us the day of the month that you would like us to hit your card, right? Take the withdrawal on your card. There is no maximum on this plan. I have a minimum. So at the end of the quarter, you got to have at least $300, and we just need that to be able to make it work. Right, you know, you think about $300. Right? That's not even a roll of silver. So this is how, things are expensive. But as an example, I'll tell you right now, everybody in the plan this quarter is getting gold. Everybody. Unless you're told us not to. There are a couple people that said, hey, I only want silver. But even if you're at $300 a month, you're going to have gold in your plan. Listen, Wendy and I spend a lot of time putting these things together. And so just know this. This isn't something like at your work when you sign up for your 401k. Right? If you're lucky, once a year somebody shows up and everybody goes in the break room and they pass you out a pretty little packet. You have no idea what it is you're doing. You don't even know do they manage it? What do they do they just throw it all in there and they buy a fund or an index or this or that and then they never touch it again? Listen, we're actively involved. We build every one of these things. The neat part about it, and you know this, if you've listened to this show for any length of time, we always offer volume discounts. Matter of fact, today, the item we're going to run today is going to have a volume discount. Just how it works. When I buy in bigger quantities, they charge me less. We take everybody that's in the plan and we pool it all. We make one mass buy So you're buying at the lowest rates possible. Yeah, so it's fantastic. It's a win-win, and we get it, too. Listen, don't have any trepidations about, well, yeah, I can do it, but sometimes stuff comes up, and I may have to take a month or two off. Listen, that's fine. People do it here all the time. You just call us up and just tell us. You know what our response is going to be? Okay, no worries. We got it. Let us know when you want us to start again. It's going to be that simple. You know how we do things. Right? When you call to order a special, what's our big sales pitch? How many would you like? Right? That's it. Right? No baits and switches, no this or that. We're not going to try to talk you out of something. It's a great way to buy. And you're buying it quarter after quarter after quarter. So you got a pullback, you get to take advantage of it. You got an increase, you take advantage. Either way, you're just always putting it away. And for the month of April, 10% bonus when you sign up at 800-951-0592. Another day and another market making no sense. This is, again, and I call these things, right, these what I call obvious signs of tops. Remember, I was talking about it in November, right before the Dow crashed. And now it's all back today. So today we had February retail sales. Okay, this is a real number. Was it good? Matter of fact, it wasn't even positive. For the second time in 3 months, retail sales were down. And I was like, man, that's not so good. I nobody wants that. The Dow's up 250 points today. I mean, go figure. Right? We had some survey data. It was okay. But even that wasn't fantastic. But it was okay. It wasn't horrible. And I'm left scratching my head all last week. They kept talking about this great trade deal that's going down with China. And I was saying to you, remember, and I keep saying it, and I've said it over and over and over. I think we'll finally get a deal. Because I heard something last week I hadn't heard yet, which was China may let our banks have a little more access. And I'm like, okay, that's going to help things. But it's not going to be the deal anybody thinks it's going to be. And Friday afternoon, the markets are closed. Nobody's paying attention. A story breaks. Now remember, this was once again Friday afternoon. It starts out about 3 hours ago. U.S. stocks were being run back towards their highs. Right? Today, the Dow's 26, at least for now, 26,000 and change. A frequently used mouthpiece from the Communist Party dropped a hint that all was not well in the ongoing U.S.-China trade talks. And that some disappointing for the equity bulls, apparently not today, and they had the whole weekend to fix on it. Some news may be imminent. The English language Global Times. Now, this is where I go when I want to fact check what we hear here. And this is the thing that is so frustrating. Right? And I said it here before. Why are we in Venezuela? Why do we care? I can tell you why. It has nothing to do with the president there or the dictator or whatever you want to call him. Listen, we deal with dictators all the time. And as long as they do what we like, right, we tolerate them. Venezuela is a banking issue. They're mad. We're mad. Because Venezuela is preventing us, at least in the eyes of the United States, right? They're preventing us from getting all the Central and South American countries to fall in line and do what we tell them. Sorry. I mean, come on. We all know that. It's a joke. Right? We shouldn't be spending a single penny there, but, we can't help ourselves. So this is out there. And I hear the mainstream media, and they talk, everybody, it's great, it's going to be great. Then I go to the Chinese side just to see what they're saying. They did confirm talks were making progress, but said that China doesn't want to raise any public expectation that any deal is imminent. And then they said that China has not backed down on its stance. And again, I've told you there's no reason for them to. Leaders agreed to work on removing all additional tariffs in December, according to the Vice Commerce Ministry. Okay. And I'm thinking, December's not 30 days from today. I mean, I know how to read a calendar. They did say Beijing has made some concessions, establishing laws to address U.S. concerns about intellectual property infringement and forced technology transfers. They said that it would allow, and here you go. Now, listen, that part, they may say, hey, we'll put a law in, but as we know, and part of our trepidation on this is, how does that get enforced? But here's the key. So this was in the English newspaper in China. It would allow J.P. Morgan Chase to set up a brokerage joint venture, demonstrating the company's efforts to open its financial market. See, like I said, it's a banking thing. Chinese officials fear that they will draw the president's ire on this. So the Chinese president hasn't quite signed off on that part. If they receive nothing from the United States in return, and they say that the Chinese president is very weary of having another summit with President Trump. I just wanted to tell you. Just wanted to let you know. I know Jason and Brian on their show, they talk about it more than I do. When you want to look at where the conflicts are, the end of the day, it comes down to these bankers. This was never how it was intended to be. And then I start thinking about our central bank, this private bank. And the Bank of International Settlements, right? This is the private bank for the private bankers. Gold now being a Tier 1 asset. After the break, I'm going to talk about how the dollar's doing. And I don't mean on Wall Street. Because I'm going to tell you right now, that's the least important thing for us to even worry about, because it's made up, it's fake. It's not real. It's controlled by a very few amount of people. What I'm talking about is how much dollars does the rest of the world really want? And more importantly, how close is it getting to the end of the dollar dominance? And I've always thought it was a little farther away. You know, when Eric and I have these talks, he always tells me, Joe, it's sooner than you think. So I got an update on that. The United States dollars is percentages of reserves throughout the world continuing to fall. I'll tell you which currency's on the rise. And then let me ask you this. Did you see on Friday as well, Larry Kudlow? You know how I feel about Larry. The guy lies. Comes right out on TV and lies. Tells you everything's great. Friday, he talked about the need for an immediate 50-point basis rate cut, kind of like Stephen Moore and Janet Yellen, right? We're just getting everybody trained. And you know what? Wall Street wants you to believe how great this is. Really? Is it really great? Or does it mean there's even more trouble than we even know? Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break.
This is the Phyllis Schlafly Report, presenting a daily conservative pro-family perspective since 1983 and continuing the legacy of Phyllis Schlafly. Now, here's the president of Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, Ed Martin.
The scandal of Virginia's Democrat Governor Ralph Northam has peeled back the curtain on a little-known corner of the abortion industry. What happens when an infant survives an abortion and is born alive? You've heard about late-term abortion, which occurs when the infant is far enough along to survive outside the womb. You've heard about partial birth abortion, where the infant is partially delivered before being killed with a sharp jab to the base of his skull. What Governor Northam advocated is even more gruesome than that. It's textbook infanticide. Governor Northam is not just a politician. He's a medical doctor with a specialty in pediatric neurology. Even after 12 years as an elected official, Northam remains a member of the medical staff at a children's hospital in Norfolk, Virginia. Speaking with the authority of a board-certified pediatrician, Governor Northam said, quote, "If a mother is in labor, I can tell you exactly what would happen. The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired. And then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mother." Northam's discussion would not be whether to wrap the baby in pink or blue, not about whether to start a college fund, not about teaching the new mother how to breastfeed her new baby. No, the discussion would be whether to leave the baby on a table without care or nourishment until the baby stops breathing and turns cold. The practice of abandoning a newborn to die is known as infanticide, and the civilized world has prohibited it since Christianity took over the Roman Empire in the 4th century A.D. Many people think the story of mankind is a story of progress. They want us to believe we gradually reject the barbarity of our past and move into a more civilized and enlightened way of thinking and interacting. Governor Northam's heinous comments prove that the capacity for evil is still very much a socially acceptable thing for some political ideologies. That's why it's so important to be ever vigilant against these statements and to be always ready to rebuke them for the barbarous evil that they are.
This has been the Phyllis Schlafly Report from Phyllis Schlafly Eagles. Despite the outrageous pro-abortion stance of many liberals, the vast majority of American people value human life. More than ever, pro-life voices need to stay vigilant and be heard. At phyllisschlafly.com, we're not backing down. Please, join us in the battle for life at phyllisschlafly.com. Thanks for listening, and join us again for the Phyllis Schlafly Report.
800-951-0592. You know, I sit there and I think about, we got this great economy, and everything is wonderful. So why is it that the central bank, with an interest rate of 2.4, that's the official number, now all of a sudden says, hey, that's it. And everybody, and I mean everybody, they draw out of the idiot box is telling you the same thing. Right? The bullish guys are saying, hey, we need to pause. 2.4%? You want 2% inflation? And let's face it, we got way more than that, but, your lying inflation number is supposed to be 2%. Banks don't even pay. It's not like you can go, can you even get 2% from the bank? No. Now all these people that have come out and told you how great of a job they've done are telling you we need a 50 basis point cut. Not 25, 50. And they're probably right. I look at the data, and it depends. You can get fooled. You look in Phoenix, and everybody's here. I mean, everybody. You want to really be entertained? I actually did it because I was curious. The big bus station in town is down near the airport. Go down there and hang out for a couple hours. See what you see. See what you see. We've got an invasion happening in our country right now. Law enforcement is being overrun. And we're just releasing these. We don't know what to do with them. So we just let them all go. Stick them on a bus. I don't know where they go. But I will tell you this. They're coming to a city near you at any day now. Because the bankers want them to come. Right? We want to mess around in Venezuela. When people talk about, you're just being cruel, Double. These people didn't do anything to you. They should be allowed to come in here if they want to. And you think about all these things that the bankers push upon every other place in the world. We destabilize countries, whole entire countries, all the time. And now they want to destabilize ours. That's what it's all about. It's all part of the plan. Right? Don't be fooled. And it's so frustrating. This is, even more important, why you need to support this show and this network. It's all part of the plan. And you know what? More and more people are starting to figure it out. More and more of you are starting to connect the dots. And something very, very predictable and scary is happening. 9 months ago, right, and let's face it, in financial talk and financial speak, that's an eternity ago now. U.S. Treasury yields were drifting lower from a 7-year high. And you think about the yields, remember when the 10-year note was like 3%, 3.2%? Everybody was freaking out. There was a curious development in the U.S. market for U.S. sovereign debt. That a complete lack of surprise has been completely overlooked by the mainstream financial press. Right? Should this be on ABC? Should this be on your local news? Maybe. Should this be talked about wherever your financial well-being is? Absolutely. Do they say anything about it? They don't. Have you heard anyone talk about the debt anymore? Right? They want to pretend now it doesn't matter. And there's no GDP growth in this country without us being $1 trillion in debt. None. Zero. Matter of fact, we'd have negative growth. In April and May, Russia liquidated its U.S. Treasury holdings, remember? We talked about it. A drop that was so significant, Russia fell off the Treasuries list of the 30 or so largest Treasury holders in the world. And in the months that followed, as the U.S. imposed more and more of their quote-unquote economic sanctions, Russia turned instead to alternative reserves as the country, quote-unquote, de-dollarized their sovereign wealth fund. Now we find out that not only is Russia the largest gold buyer in the world now, well, the Russian central bank is the largest official gold buyer in the world. And I say that for a reason. Because China's buying a lot more. They're just not doing, they're buying, and they're adding officially. They're buying a lot more than that unofficially. And they said that now China's reserves have flowed in to the Chinese renminbi and into gold. And this is another report that came out on Friday. Notice the coincidence of everything that happens on Friday. And I'm not talking about Friday morning. No. These are things that come out on Friday afternoon. And by the time everybody got back from the weekend, they were watching their March Madness, they were going to their cocktail parties, playing a round of golf. They hope everybody forgets about it. I was watching TV, and again, I don't watch a ton of it. I haven't seen anybody talk about it. Russia and China are now clearly seeking to end monetary ties with the dollar. Now, I know, Russia, they're not our friends. The Chinese, they're not our friends either, by the way. There is just one alternative. China's renminbi, and really, I guess there's two, in gold. Which is why it will probably not come as a surprise to anybody. The percentage of world reserve currencies held in dollars continues to fall. Right? We're closing in here on 60%. Now, why is this important? Before the financial crisis, the U.S. dollar was held by 75% of the world. They had 75% of their currency in dollars. We're down to 61 and falling. And now something new has happened. Oh, by the way, China's the one that's rising, right? When you look at, because you can hold, they only count the following. When you're talking about money, the dollar, that counts. The euro, that counts. The yen, that counts. The pound sterling, right? That counts. And now the Chinese renminbi. Right now, gold now, right? As we know, gold is now a tier 1 asset. But that's when they talk about fiat money, you got to pick. Okay? How do you want your reserves to be? Now, the next step, and this is going to lead to the next round of acceleration. So like I said, we've gone from the 70s, trying to hold on to 60. How is it going to get below 50? And by the way, just so in case you're curious, actual U.S. products bought and sold only makes up about 16% of the global economy. So the fact that we're still using 60%, right, we got a long way to go. According to the latest reports, several Russian banks have joined China's international payment system. Its abbreviation CIPS, also known as China's SWIFT system. Now, I've talked about this to you guys for a while. It's not Swift trucking. That's not what I'm talking about. When you're out on the freeway, I'm not talking about that. This is how the United States, I'll use Venezuela as an example. When countries buy things, even when corporations buy things, and I'm not talking about us going to Safeway or Walmart. I'm not talking about one of us going down buying a car at the dealership. Right? We're talking about, hey, I'm buying a boatload of something. Oil, corn, soybeans, steel. The payments have been handled through the U.S.-controlled SWIFT system. So when the United States doesn't like you, this is the way the bankers love to meddle, right? They ban you from using it. Right? And then other countries are like, hey, well, can't do business with you. It's like going to Costco and try to use your Amex card, see what happens. What does Costco tell you? Hey, we don't take that card. This is what happens. Right? You go, Iran goes to France, and France is like, wait a minute, we don't take that card. Apparently now there's going to be a new card that's going to be taken. The Cooperations on Payment System. A range of banks are already starting and already are connected to the Chinese, what I'll call chip system, allowing to facilitate payments routing through China's developed payment system. Who was it that was writing this? I want to give credit here because I don't want to misspeak here. Looks like Reuters was the one that started with this story. Regulators are hoping that in turn Chinese counterparts are going to start paying more attention to their system. It's going to boost future bilateral trade. Now, I bring this up because Italy was the latest country to sign. Remember last week they signed that agreement with China, their Belt and Road Initiative? How soon until they join? How soon? I think it was, what was it, Dubai or Bahrain, one of those other Middle East countries. They did the same. And now they're saying that there's a direct correlation to the number of countries signing up with the Chinese system and the rise of the Chinese renminbi as a reserve currency. It takes time. Remember, we didn't make China a reserve currency to win 2016. So now here we are in 2019. And all of a sudden, China, just in the last quarter, doubled the amount of money being held in renminbi by foreign nations. Doubled. Most of it was Russia. No doubt about it. But you start looking at these debt markets, you look at the auctions. I keep educating you. It's starting to make more and more sense, isn't it? Why we're having such a hard time selling bonds. Why it is that Larry Kudlow is coming out on TV saying, we got to cut rates. Right? I don't know how we're going to afford it all. I don't know how we afford all of this debt. And now the again, and it's a process. How long do we have? 5 years? Right? I keep wanting to believe that we could have 10. And now I'm starting to doubt it because, first of all, I didn't even know China had a payment system. See, this is the important part. Being named a reserve currency, that's nice. Actually having your own payment system is a game changer. Because right now, everybody else is using the U.S. system. Well, because it was the only one. Patriot Radio News Hour. Final segment coming up. Eight 800-951-0592. Do we live in interesting times or what? We got an invasion happening. They're telling us 1.5 million. So, just because I do this for a living, if they're admitting to 1.5 million, probably about 3 million people coming through in a single year here. I mean, that's an invasion. Just to know about it. Well, if you are, you're supposed to feel like it's great and wonderful. That's what the bankers want you to believe. At the same time, right, and we got Venezuela and all this other, Israel and the Gaza Strip and the rockets and the yellow vesters in France. And the list goes on and on and on. But what you're not supposed to know about, it's not talk about the debt. It's not talk about what Russia and China just announced over the weekend. And definitely don't talk about the fact that the rest of the world now can pay in something other than dollars. You can sign contracts in something other than dollars, but actual payments now can be made through China's system. You better get ready. Because think about the countries that are signing up. Turkey, Russia, Brazil, India. You know what most of them have in common? Yeah, they're all buying gold. Today, gold is flat today, down $2, $12.90, $12.91 on gold today. $20 Saints. We run Liberties a lot. Saints, I wish we could run them more. They're just harder to get. 1 through 9, 1380. 10 through 19, 1375. 20 or more. And listen, I only can do the 20. I can do that twice. That's it. I can do it twice. $13.65. I know. Right? Well, even when it's like, wow. 800-951-0592. Take the time, put away. Listen, if that's too much for you, and I get it, look into our metals program. Sign up for that. Get a 10% bonus. 800-951-0592. U.S. $20 Saints. Hey, listen, they're $1,410. That's regular price. 1 through 9, you're saving $30 at $13.80. 10 through 19, save another $5 at $13.75. Buy 20 or more. What is that? We're at $13.65. It's $45 off. You know that's big because, listen, our spreads aren't that big. I mean, they're just not. I mean, there's single digits and actually low single digits. 800-951-0592. That is the toll-free number. And remember, and you know this, when you support us, you support the radio stations that we're on, and you keep the message going. Everybody take care. Listen, that's not an April Fool's joke. That's the real price. Enjoy the rest of your day, and watch out for those guys trying to trick you today. We'll be back tomorrow.